Welcome to Wednesday, WTF Wednesday, and we all know that WTF stands for what are the facts? That's what it stands for here on SHAPEFIXER. And today I want to bring to your attention something really sinister and sneaky that is happening in the broader healthcare and medical industry. So welcome to SHAPEFIXER. I'm Andrew, I'm a nutritionist, and every Wednesday I do a video called WTF Wednesday, where I have a little rant about something. And I see that there is a new panel of experts, so these would be researchers, professors, doctors, appointed by the Lancet journal, and they have come up with new definition of obesity, new proposals to be used across the industry to define when people are obese. For, 100 years, obesity has been to mean that your body mass index is over 30. So more than 30% of your body mass is body fat. Now that's an arbitrary enough number, because if it's 29, that doesn't mean you're okay. You are borderline clinically, technically obese, but you are way overweight and very sick, and you're going to end up on 30 anyway. But that's not the point. There had to be a line somewhere just for the sake of the definition. And so in terms of that definition of a BMI of 30, around 50%, I think 52, something like that, of American adults are obese. And this is a problem. It's a real health problem. But now, this panel of experts is going to propose a whole new definition of obese, which will suddenly mean that 70% of all American adults are obese. Why would anybody want to do that? Could it be because all these experts, all these doctors on this panel, every single one of them is sponsored in their professional roles, their research is sponsored by pharmaceutical companies, every single one of them. Pharmaceutical companies that are jumping on the bandwagon of the latest fad for lowering weight, which is what I would call the misuse of diabetic drugs branded as Mounjaro or Wegovy or Ozempic, that they are now prescribing to and selling to people as a shortcut for losing weight. So people are now injecting themselves with a diabetic drug to bring their weight down. So if you can define more people as obese and you can tell more people that they are obese, you can prescribe this drug to them and you can sell them this drug. And these drugs have terrible long-term implications. Firstly, they cost a lot of money, so there's already a problem. But these weight loss drugs, these so-called GLP-1 agonist drugs, which is what they all are, GLP-1 is a hormone. It's a hormone that your body produces in your fat cells. It's supposed to. And it's supposed to lower your hunger and stop you eating. Unfortunately, it doesn't work if you're on a standard Western diet, which of course is the diet that is recommended by the industries, by the pharmaceutical industries, by the food industries. It's the diet they tell you to eat, which is high in carbohydrates and grains, low in fat. Yeah, and it makes you fat, and it makes you sick, and it makes you obese, and it gives you diabetes. So then you need to buy lots of drugs. And because that diet, high in carbohydrates, blocks your GLP-1 production, it blocks this hormone that is supposed to control your eating, which is why you're hungry all the time and you eat too much and then you get fat. Then they sell you in the form of an injection the very hormone that their diet is stopping your body from producing. Oh, and you inject it and now you're not hungry anymore. Fantastic. It kind of works because now you're not hungry, so you don't eat quite as much. So you lose a bit of weight. But what else happens to you? You become malnourished. You're already malnourished, which means badly nourished, because you're already eating the wrong food. Now you eat even less. So the little bit of vitamins and protein and essential fatty acids that you were getting from your bad diet is now reduced even further because you're eating less. And because you're not getting enough of the nutrients you need, that weight loss that you get after having these injections is not just body fat. People are losing bone density and losing muscle mass. Losing bone density leads to osteoporosis. Losing muscle mass, especially when you're over the age of, say, 50, which is, of course, when people tend to be more obese. So most of the people injecting themselves are over 45 or 50 or 60. When you lose muscle mass, it's very, very much harder to ever get it back unless you do a huge amount of resistance exercise. And if you were inclined to do a whole lot of exercise, you're probably inclined to eat properly, and you're probably not going to want these injections anyway. So there's two things here. One is these injections are terrible. They are not a solution for weight. Yes, they'll bring your weight down, but they will just make you weaker and more unhealthy and more at risk of breaking your bones when you fall, because you'll have osteoporosis. And if you go off the drug, which you will, because nobody's on them forever, especially when your weight's down, you're going to go, I don't need it anymore. You'll stop taking it, but you'll still be eating what you were eating before. So your body fat will come back, but your bones will not strengthen again, and your muscles will not strengthen again. So that's the first thing, is to don't use these drugs unless you're diabetic and you absolutely have to. But the second thing is, what is this nonsense about redefining obesity so that you can catch more people in the net? Think about it. 50% are obese. Now suddenly it's 70. From 50 to 70 is not a 20% increase. It's a 40% increase. Because 20 is 40% of 50. So now instead of selling 50 drugs, they're selling 70 drugs. That is a 40% increase in their revenue and in the drugs that they sell. So ignore the definitions of obesity. If you are overweight, you know you're overweight. Eat a proper diet. Do not eat sugars. Do not eat carbohydrates. Do not follow the recommended Western diet. It's nonsense. Eat a ketogenic diet, low in carbohydrates, high in fats and proteins, and you will lose weight, and you will build muscle, and your bones will be denser, and you will be healthier, and you won't spend all that money on these ridiculous drugs. All right, that's us. That's us for Wednesday. WTF Wednesday. Thank you for your time. Thank you for subscribing. Please share this video, especially with anybody you know who thinks that these drugs are a very clever shortcut to losing weight. They are a shortcut to osteoporosis and sarcopenia and all sorts of other health problems. And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next WTF video that we do next week.